off. Welcome all to OCP Tech Week. This is the OCP Telco and Edge track. And I'm just going to give a few minutes of introduction and then hand it over to Steve Helvey, who will introduce the speakers, and we'll basically run the transitions throughout the morning.
Steve, this is Jeremy. You're still not streaming to the site.
Hey, Jeremy, confirming we can see the stream now on the site.
Okay, great.
Okay, and real quick question with the delay, do I need to wait for the slide to transition before speaking, or can I just continue to speak?
You can just continue. You should be all set.
Okay, great. So I wanted to give a little overview of the two projects, well, the Telco project and the Edge sub project. And the scope of the Telco project is basically to promote product designs that meet requirements for telco and data center carriers. Since the start of the Telco project, there's been 19 approved contributions and also a number of drafts and white papers. The current project chairs are Lauren Staley from EdgeCore and Marco Hokonen from Nokia. And the current IC, or Incubation Committee representative for the Telco project, is Craig White. I included a URL link to get you to all the good information on the Telco project. And then the meetings themselves are the first Thursday of the month. And actually the project alternates between US and Southeast Asian times to allow a wider global coverage. Interestingly enough, for us in North America, the Thursday morning call is actually Wednesday evening on the schedule. You can find the schedule on the Telco site. And also, I'd encourage you to join the mailing list. And there's a link to the mailing list. And moving on to the Edge project. The Edge project happened a couple of years ago. It's really sort of a special extension to the Telco project that really promotes product designs with a special focus on some of the requirements for edge deployments. And among these are really dimensions, power budgets, cooling, networking, and acceleration. It was originally called the Open Edge sub-project because it really focused on a single form factor, which was the Open Edge form factor. But now we've actually opened that up to really to encompass or to accept any or all edge designs. And we've already had one contribution of a non-edge or non-open edge design, and that was in the form of a 2U server that was recently contributed by WeWin. I'm your sub-project chair. There's a link to the project itself. We meet every second Tuesday of the month. And that's the mailing list that you can certainly join up. And I encourage you, if you're not a member, to please join up to both mailing groups and stay informed with what's going on in Telco and Edge. So the morning track, I'm doing the introductions, and then after that, this is going to be a little more of an open edge dominated morning. Like I said, the original Edge sub-project was the Open Edge sub-project. So we're going to start out with some developments on the Open Edge platform in terms of server, data center deployments, and a new 2U chassis contribution. We're then going to take a look at the ORAN initiative and how TIP, the Telecom Infrastructure Project, is addressing this. We're then going to have an interesting panel discussion on Edge Cloud and how that affects the suppliers that are trying to deploy products to the edge. Then we'll follow up with Open Edge deployment options, repurposing and extending OCP designs, and then finally an Open Edge switch submission. And that'll end about noon, little after noon Pacific time. Then we pick back up in the evening, 5:30 Pacific time, and this is really kind of gets into, I think, many other aspects of Edge and Telco deployments, namely deploying of networks to rural fabrics, battery backup considerations for 5G, which, where you're located at the edge, your power may not be redundant, may not be quite as readily reliable. So, some battery backup options for that. Some 5G specific discussions and demonstrations on, discussions on precision timing, especially at the edge. And this has very much a tie into 5G and other, very low latency, highly time synchronized applications that would be deployed to the edge. And then we also will cover a little bit into immersion cooling and how, as we move, compute and acceleration and additional power out toward the edge, where environments are not really as stable or not as friendly as a data center, some of the options that we may have to do to keep that equipment cooled. And so with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Steve. And Steve, you can introduce the first presenter.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it very much. Next up,